I'm also pleased that our committee is getting back to the business of legislating after the government shutdown. The measures we'll be considering today have the potential to improve the efficacy and cost effectiveness of DHS operations. These are bipartisan bills. 4 of these bills have gone through regular order this Congress. 2 are reintroduced versions of bills that this committee advanced in the last Congress. I'm pleased that legislation I authored to make permanent the Aviation Security Advisory Committee is being considered today. We do not need to look too far into the past to see what happens when TSA makes unilateral policy or programmatic decisions. TSA's decision to allow knives on planes serves as a reminder. Additionally, TSA unilaterally decided to shift responsibility for security operation at exit lanes to airport operators. Inexplicably, TSA did not formally engage with the ASAC on this security question. This is a problem. An effective partnership between TSA and the air carrier, airports, and other aviation security stakeholders start with open lines of communication. I'm also pleased that legislation authored by the ranking member of the Cybersecurity Committee, Representative Clark, will be considered today. There's a lot of interest on both sides of the aisle on improving DHS's capacity to execute its cybersecurity mission. The Cyber Boots on the Ground Act represents a major step forward. It would require DHS to develop a comprehensive list of job classification so that human resource officers are able to identify specific hiring needs. It also directs DHS to, for the first time, do a comprehensive cyber workforce assessment and workforce strategy. These are essential building blocks to DHS's effort at building its cyber workforce. The 2 bills authored by the Transportation Security Subcommittee Chairman Hudson and Cyber Subcommittee Chairman Meehan will also improve key aspects of DHS's operation. I also support the other 2 notice measures, H.R. 1791 and H.R. 1095. Ordinarily, I would stop there and commend my colleagues for their thoughtful legislation, but today feels different. The government shutdown changed things. We've come out of a period where over 31,000 department employees were furloughed, virtually bringing a halt to many DHS administrative functions, including the writing of strategies, plans, and reports to Congress. It was a particularly tough time for non-furloughed DHS personnel. These dedicated men and women were asked to remain vigilant and protect the nation from terrorism and other threats without assurances that they would be paid. The shutdown was disruptive not only to DHS personnel, but to the U.S. businesses that were denied access to E-Verify, the internet-based system that allows employers to determine the eligibility of prospective employees to work in the U.S. Over 404,000 employers were enrolled in this system, and in FY 2012 alone, more than 21 million queries were processed through the system. One often overlooked aspect of this shutdown is its impact on small businesses. We've heard about hotels, restaurants, and vendors near national parks seeing sales plummet, but little notice has been paid to the disruption the shutdown has on small businesses that work with the government. With outstanding government invoices unpaid, those small businesses struggle. The shutdown was the latest in a series of insults that federal workers have had to withstand in federal years. From pay freezes to hiring freezes to long-term continuing resolutions to sequestration, the DHS workforce has had a tough few years. Sequestration alone has resulted in a $670 million reduction in DHS funding. As a result, DHS, which is without a permanent leader, has put in place a hiring freeze that is expected to result in up to 2,600 vacancies by the end of the fiscal year. According to the National Border Patrol Council, the union representing Border Patrol agents sequestration caused CBP to make $754 million in reduction in fiscal year 2013. And to execute these cuts, CBP had to reduce training, facilities maintenance, and supplies. ICE saw a $417 million reduction in funding, and as a result, had to curtail investigation resources. I could go on, but my point is that we need to acknowledge that while the mandates in these bills are the right way to go, responsibility to carry them out will fall on the shoulders of DHS workforce. I offer this observation in the hopes that the same bipartisan spirit we exhibit here today can be brought to bear to rein in the sequester and deliver a long sought-after full-year appropriation bill for DHS. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.